So this is my final summary presentation. This is my third attempt at it, so I'm a little irritated here in this because I've done this 3 times. But anyways, so presentation that I chose, and I specifically chose it because of the two topics here, mental health and substance abuse. It was also in the one that I attended in my group, to be fair, as well. But both of these are very real and pertinent issues, and especially mental health. It's something that I very much advocate for. So I'll talk about their presentation first, and I was there. I really liked their presentation. Obviously, like I said, the two issues are very ones that I can very much get behind. Um, and I really liked how they talk about the statistics here, because at the end of the day, like statistics, you can't really dispute them. They're facts, and they're really good a really good argument, and they show very pertinent ones too. Very, you know, interesting. Also, you can see, well, in this chart here, it's maybe a little whatever, but you can see that obviously the males are a little bit more. It's a little bit more fucked up than the females, but that's maybe the wrong way to say that. Are a little bit more substance abusive than females. And another thing too that goes with mental health, and I talk about a lot too, is men's mental health, and that's something that's well, men just refuse to talk about. It makes me mad. They think that you just don't talk about it, and that's the way to be. You're being a bigger man by doing that, but that's bullshit to me because I think you're a bigger man than you're a bigger man if you open up and talk as much as you don't want to burden anyone else if your own issues and stuff, especially people close to you and your family. But anyways, and then again here too, they talk about the some very stunning statistics, really. 50 $50 billion a year for Canada. That's a lot. Like that is a lot for Canada. And again, too, if the suicides here, not to be whatever, but again, it's mostly male suicides. And yeah, in my not my own experience, but from my own little tiny bit of research and stuff throughout the years that I've gained from things like, Bell Let's Talk and whatnot, like I mentioned in class there. But anyways, and then like they mention here too, something that I actually really like and about nowadays is the rising awareness and acceptance of it. There's not such a stigma around mental health. Like there still is stigma, especially men's mental health, but there's definitely a lot less stigma than 5, 10 years ago, especially 20 years ago. And especially going back hundreds of years ago, like people would just there was no mental health. It was just you're insane or you're crazy. There there was no there was really no mental health. Especially not therapists and all the things and the programs and stuff that we do have. That's another part of it too, is the programs and things that we do have available both for substance abuse and mental health. Um, and then like we talked about too, some more statistics here. So depression is the fastest growing one. To my knowledge, it's also the biggest one, the biggest, issue that people have. And I think second would definitely be anxiety for sure. And then again, just some really stunning statistics here. I would like to see the data after 2020 and really and truly see what the effects of before, during, and after the pandemic were. We're obviously in the after phase here, but still, I would really like to see the data here about how it, what it did. And then like they talk about here, companies that are involved in it, and this kind of fits into my own work and my line of business and whatnot. TELUS has TELUS Health, and I actually really like TELUS Health from both a stock business perspective as well as from well, this perspective, and them, helping out with the, the mental health thing and really healthcare in general. But because TELUS Health has, I believe they do have, like, you can meet with a therapist online, and you can go through mental health stuff and substance abuse, and they also have, just healthcare stuff, helping taking the burden off of the healthcare system. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed their presentation. I like the two subjects that they picked. They're both very pertinent and real issues. Um, and then yeah, I'll get into it here, but I also definitely relate to both, and that's why I chose both as well. So I'll talk about the mental health first, how I relate to it. So I have anxiety. I don't have depression or anything else, but I do have anxiety, and I used to have it super, super bad. Like all my life since I was born, essentially, I was like super, super shy, and I was very, very anxious, but I was shy because I was anxious. And then when I was about 17 or 16, something like that, I kind of realized what was, well, I realized before that I had anxiety, but I decided like to really do something about it. And on my own too, I might add, like I didn't do anything. I didn't get help from anyone really, or help from anything. I kind of just literally fought my own anxiety and went to war with it, and fought my anxiety a lot to the point where I got it to where it just doesn't bother me, and it hasn't for like years now. Like I still have anxiety, but I it doesn't bother me at all. I just kind of I don't even live with it because it just doesn't really ever come up. And that's just I've completely beat it and stuff. But anyways, and then like I said too about mental health too, it's something that I very much advocate for and will always be an advocate for. Like once I'm literally going to change the world. And once I have some famousness and money, I will absolutely be a big advocate for mental health for a wide number of reasons, both in like they talk about it here, but in business, like I missed a slide, I think, but they talk about how in business and mental health and how it affects that. But I believe that if you're not at 100% or close to, because of your, like, if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not working to the best efficiency that you can. Because I'm all about efficiency. Like I work all day and night, but I want to work 24/7, but I can't really do that. For one, because of, well, mental health, like you kind of drive yourself insane doing that. And I'm all about efficiency. Like you can't be Superman. You got to take care of yourself, and mental health is definitely a big factor in your efficiency and performance. And really, like mental health just leaks into and falls into everything, truly. So, um, and then yeah, I was sorry, I got a little bit off track there, just looking at the text someone sent me. And then the other part of it too was the substance abuse. So I talked about my own. I smoke weed, and I'm one of the few people who will openly admit that they are addicted to weed and recognize that they are addicted to weed. And I love but hate weed. I hate weed because I'm addicted and I can't quit. And I love weed for the obvious reasons. But I talked about it in a previous assignment, different class entirely, different teacher, and it made its way through. Well, it didn't make it. through the school privately because the student counselor brought it up to me. We had a meeting about something else entirely, and he brought it up to me that I was addicted to weed, and the only reason he would have known that is through my teacher because I mentioned it in an assignment. And once that came up, I was not very happy. So I would greatly appreciate if my addiction to weed would go unmentioned or whatever to the school, even if it's your job or whatever. If it's your job, whatever. But I didn't really appreciate at all the school person bringing up that I was addicted to weed. The school student guidance, student success advisor there. I wasn't very happy about that at all. But anyways, moving on from that, I just wanted to bring that up first because I really was not happy about that. So substance abuse is a very real issue. Like I said, the only thing that I'm addicted to is weed, and weed is nothing like heroin or cigarettes or cocaine. It's nothing like that at all. It's not as addictive at all. I wouldn't know. Obviously, I wouldn't know at all. But it weed is still very much addictive, and it's the most common drug too that people use. Like I don't know what the hell the statistics would be behind it, but lots of people do smoke weed. And like I said, most people don't realize that it is, in fact, very addictive. And substance abuse in general is really a very real and serious issue, especially nowadays. Like it wasn't that long ago that we had the fentanyl thing, and there was all the media was talking about fentanyl and all the deaths from that. And then we also have like part of I talked about this with the mental health, but like removing the stigma from substance abuse as much as like we talked about this in class how BC is decriminalizing like hard drugs such as methamphetamine and cocaine and stuff, which some people like didn't think that was a good idea. And maybe, like I said, maybe removing this in that way, removing the stigma around substance abuse isn't a good thing because we don't want cocaine to be something that's legally accepted everywhere. I mean, I don't think it should be legally accepted anywhere. I don't really see how the BC thing is going to work. I can't. It was some country. It was some. I can't. It was a European country. Can't remember who, but they did that, and they essentially decriminalized all drugs, and it worked. I mean, the I believe it worked, but that was years ago. I don't know what the long term effects of that are, or if they are still in place. But anyways, like I was saying, man, substance abuse is definitely a very real and serious issue that people tend to push to the side somewhat. Um, and yeah. Um, but yeah, I think I will wrap it up there. I think I've rambled on long enough, and I've done this 3 different times now. Because a long story on the both times, and now I have to jump into this other meeting at frickin' 11 at night. So after having a nap. So anyways, I'm gonna do that. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day or night.